it.
Oh, Kisei! Hey guys, welcome back to the LCO, delivered by Menulog. It's time for the match of the week, and I've got 3 people with me. They're here all the time, but they're extra handsome today, especially you, Kitty.
Thanks. I've been growing out this beard throughout the 2 weeks. I don't know if you guys can tell, but
Very rugged today, yeah.
There's one strand right here.
And strand.
And strand. There's and strand hair.
Huge.
An end strand hit.
And
You're all cooked. Now look, we got a couple of big names in this game. Did you see that content piece? Zoranus and Bulldog having a good chat about each other. Apparently, Dante has the shortest temper in the team, so we'll see if that changes anything today. Either way, let's talk order first, because all eyes are on them. Direwolves are currently above them on the ladder, and who's this silhouetted man? It's Hooper. Who's he?
Hooper, I don't even know where you want me to start. I actually played amateur with Hooper at the start of the year.
Okay.
So he was my AD at the time. He was a freak. And I remember saying to Hooper, because he wanted to play in the LCO, but he was 16. Like, he's just turned 17. I said, if you can get 1,000 points in Challenger, I will help you find an LCO team. And I promise you. And like a month later, he was 1,000 LP Challenger. Like a month.
Yeah.
So he's a freak. He's so good mechanically.
Oh, like in a good way.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, just check.
Like Michael Jordan freak. You know, like you call him a freak, but you mean it in a good way.
So like the next Dante?
That's the funny thing is, because he's playing against Direwolves, he's playing against Dante. It could be like a second Dante, but you know, he's a very young player. I would almost say he's too young to be in the LCO, so hopefully the nerves don't get the better of Hooper, as he is playing against the ice in his veins Dante.
Yeah, well look, you've got to start somewhere, don't you, Skimmy? And why not go up against one of the biggest up-and-comers this split so far in Dante, right?
Why not, indeed? I mean, if we learn anything from the interviews we've had from the content pieces before, if you've got Bulldog as your support, I mean, if he's there to reassure you with his jokes, his banter, anything to try and cool down those nerves, right? It's certainly a fierce in bot lane, which is a fair bit of a reputation. Obviously, we put a lot of love towards Seaman as well. Yes, his champion pool has been very tailored towards those hyper-aggressive assassin-like moments of, you know, an Ari jumping in, or a Silas, or even the likes of an Akali, right? But it looks ever so clean, and you know, the team have really showcased that, you know, even if we change literally the majority of the roster from split 1 to 2, they're still getting big dubs.
I remember this game now. Corporal, he's on that alley. He had a pretty rough beginning to the game, but at the same time, it was also that first big Wukong Poltron game, if you remember that one, where he was just, what is it, like 6-1 and 8 at this point, and then it just got even bigger. And the other thing we can talk about right now is that Direwolves already winning in that first affair means Order, if they want to make that head-to-head 1-to-1, they need to win today.
This was the nuts.
Sorry, we're all distracted by how this game ended.
Yeah, wasn't it 45 minutes?
I hate this clip, but I love this. Like, this clip is amazing, but at the same time, this is the week we're wearing masks, so I always laugh at it, because I'm just like, it's just muffled madness, and it pains me.
The older reset with like the 2k health, and he would have got it if it didn't do the reset for no reason. Yep, okay.
And the Ezreal teleported to try and backdoor the base, and then died, and then they lost the Eldar, and then the game. But yes, it is about the head-to-head after, so this game is actually quite important. The second time of 3 they'll face, so lots to prove.
Yeah, lots to prove indeed.
Heads to win.
And Order, it's pretty ambitious for them to put in a brand new ADC into this role in a game that could have a whole lot of importance. Maybe they're just, you know, underestimating Direwolves. Maybe they're just, you know, putting a whole lot of faith in Hooper today.
I mean, if you get to see the best Hooper that I've seen play, he can keep up with Dante, right? Like, I don't think this is a downgrade from Order. It's just a big question mark, right? Like, young rookie, still at school. How will he perform? Just like Dante, they both go to school tomorrow. So I'm glad it's game 3, not 4. Or there could be some parents yelling at him, but we'll see how the nerves come into play.
Very true. Now, Kitty, I believe your favorite egg friend is on the line.
Yes, my favorite Eggman from Order is on the line for tonight's interview. So, Corporal, I see that you have a little bit of hair now, so not an Eggman anymore. I don't know if we should keep calling him that, but how have you been, man?
Yeah, I don't know if you should keep calling me that either.
Okay, I'll stop. But you guys
Oh, okay.
have
Oh, yeah.
you guys do have a new face on the team with Hooper joining you guys for this match tonight. So tell us a little bit about Hooper and what kind of player he is.
I think Hooper is... Actually, I'm not too sure about his style right now. I think he's such a young player that he can go either way in his playstyle. But I'd say he's pretty reliable in late game teamfights. So I think giving him a hyper carry, mechanical hyper carry like Zeri or like Kaiser or something is right up his alley. And the thing I like about Hooper is that he's very willing to learn. So I think he will only get better as time goes on, even though he's really good right now.
So, look, no officials playing with Hooper yet, but I'm guessing you've scrimmed a little bit. Has he been in the scrims for like a couple of weeks now, or has it just been like a really short period of throwing him in?
It's been quite a short period of time.
Okay, that's a good way to put
And
it.
it's also a short
And
sentence.
I feel like how's the chemistry like in comparison to Puma? Have you had much time to work on that, or is it literally just going to be like trial by fire today?
Well, we've had a little bit to work on it, but I don't think the synergy matters too much, because I think as long as he trusts himself and then we just play to the best of our ability, I think like dials won't really be a problem, because I don't think they're that amazing.
Oh, so they're not that amazing. Well, we have seen Dials struggling just a bit in the previous few weeks. So how are the boys going to tackle this match as we go into your matchup against Dials?
I think we just shut down Suman, because I know he plays super aggressive. And I used to be on a team with him back in 2019 Split 2, or for RCS. And I know he just plays crazy all the time. So as long as Suman doesn't get like 10 kills randomly, I think we will just win for sure.
There you go.
The Dia Cub days.
The Dia Cub days. Back in the day. Now look, we'll let you go, Corporal. Enjoy the game. Good luck up against Dials today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye.
He's not an egg anymore. Everyone that was wondering, no egg. He's got hair back.
But he don't know World Kitty. He's like, so, how are you? I'm not an egg. You shouldn't call me anymore.
Okay, we will not call you Eggman
so
any longer.
I guess you're not okay. Like,
I thought Eggman. I thought Jim Carrey did a real good impression of him in Sonic.
True.
He did. Yeah, so I thought it was like a compliment, but maybe everyone doesn't like Jim Carrey's performance.
I don't think I would like to be called Jim Carrey even as a compliment. I think he's a nice man, but he's quite crazy.
I feel like I channel him most of the time.
I said what I said.
I'd love to be.
Either way.
We get his talent, we get his money.
Hey.
What's not to like about that, Mac? Hey?
Do you want to get paid in Twitch points?
Yeah, bro.
Because I know everyone with the Dare fan vote wants to get paid in
Money,
Twitch
money, money.
points.
This
So
way.
get your Twitch points in. Tell us how you think this game's going to go. Of course, is it going to be Order? Is it going to be Direwolves? This one I'm feeling like it's like real 50-50. So you could make all of those Twitch points back real damn easy no matter which way you go, because it's kind of flip of the coin here. However, look, Hooper, trial by fire, there's going to be a lot of eyes on him. And I don't know which way we think this one's going to go. I believe this one may be a one-pick buff, and Skimmy is the
Direwolves.
only person to go for Direwolves. So, why are we playing this game? Because Skimmy already won.
True.
Yep.
As we've learned, right? I don't know, who actually even started this whole thing off? I swear, like, it's just worked.
I think it was Kitty Peace.
It's been such a thing for such a long time. It
Was
feels
it
like an
Peace
LCO.
Styles?
Was
it
it
like years now?
Kitty Piece, or was it when Fido decided to gnaw my ear off and...
I think it was Kitty Peace, and then you confirmed it. Like, it
yeah.
became a thing
Yep.
when that just happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would say that in this game, I still think Direwolves would be considered underdogs. The funny thing is, like, and it was actually mentioned vaguely by Corporal in the interview.
Yeah.
I do think the Direwolves are quite solvable and quite beatable if you play the way that Peace did when they played against Direwolves, which is diffusing Suman and controlling bot lane.
Well, Corporal, as you said, he said it too. So, are we expecting Order to win through Hooper? Are we expecting Kisei to go something a little bit more carry heavy today, or are we just like keeping eyes up towards that top
I
lane?
want Bio to play a hard carry. Just like give him like a Jax or a Fiora or anything, and then say,
Tryndamere.
just say, okay, Hooper, your first game, you're gonna be nervous. Of course, you're young. Who cares? But you've got such a great trajectory. So just vibe, just have fun.
Just vibe.
We're not gonna put much
vibe.
pressure on you. Maybe
Vibe
just
it
play
in the top
Ash.
lane.
Maybe just play Ash and chuck in a few ults here and there and say we're engaging. And then old mate,
Ash in
big
top
Bio
lane.
captain just gets it absolutely done.
You said bio.
No, he lost
captain.
me halfway through that sentence.
Bio
Someone
I heard
semi drop.
I heard
the
Paparazzi's
translator.
name in there.
I called him last split Bio Daddy, and then
Yeah,
that went a certain way. So
you've started that one
yeah,
in a bad way.
yeah. Well, there you go. We're just bringing it back. Why not? Shout out Juves.
Where are we going? Anyway, there's a game that's not too far away, fortunately. Are we expecting any crazy picks? Are we going to see Shivnar top for the third game today in a row? Because, you know, it's trending.
We have seen it twice in a row.
It is
I
trending.
like that. That's a good way to put it.
Bio bucked that trend, to be fair.
Yeah.
Last week, he just picked Olaf into the Shyvana, so decided that he didn't want his standard matchup. I also think that their draft was good last week. They just really messed up in team fights, and Peace kind of ran away with them. So I do order a team that will play anything. I think that Kisei is going to be the carry, though.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be Bio Panther.
I actually really liked Bio's Zach, honestly.
Yeah,
that
good.
was
Good.
really fun to watch just because of the engage, not only angles, but length. Because he can come from bloody anywhere as Zach.
Yeah.
It also means you can't play Jinx as a response carry.
Okay.
So like one of the annoying things about Zac is that if you're playing an AD carry bot lane that doesn't have a dash, you're doomed.
You're in trouble.
Like there's just no stopping him.
I actually think I'm sure you guys haven't even because Hooper played amateur? He has
Yeah,
with
yeah,
you, yes.
yeah.
Not like he can't even play university because he's too
No,
young.
he's currently
Yeah,
competing
yeah,
in amateur
Yeah.
tourneys.
So for all the people that don't know much about Hooper, he is a mechanical ADC player. He likes playing Kaisa and Zeri.
Yep.
And I honestly think he's pretty similar to Dante. I think they have the same playstyle. They make the same mistakes. They're both young. They both go to high school. Yada yada yada. And so the biggest point in that bot lane will be the differential between supports. I think if Corporal does well, then Dante will. What's his name? Hooper will do well.
Yeah, the other Dante.
Yes, the other Dante. But yeah,
Yep,
they're both-
Dante, but a year younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from not New Zealand. Wait, is Hooper New Zealand? Or is he AU?
He's Australian.
Sydney? Yeah.
Oh, local.
Yeah.
Get him in the studio to play some
I told you I
games. Why
played
not?
Mahjong with him the other day.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could catch planes on the weekend. I thought you were, you know,
He's just
all
baller.
rich and stuff.
Just bowling as a
He's just-
17-year-old.
Isn't that what happens when you're a challenger player? You get on planes, you go overseas, you go to whatever bloody state you want to play
True.
mahjong.
You get given backpacks.
True, can confirm, Mac.
There's
Not from
like
personal experience.
bonuses. You know, there's privilege that comes with challenger.
None.
And look, there's privilege
I think
that
there was
comes
in
with
Korea.
watching the LCO because Champ Select's ready. You get to watch this banger game. It's time for Match of the Week.
Could have sworn I
No,
read.
let's talk about this.
I could have sworn I saw something on Twitter about like a Korean net cafe where if your rank was challenger, it was like you get free time.
There is also a net cafe in China where if you're challenger and log in, it announces it.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey,
so
look at
like
me.
you're a celebrity
Big
in
dog
that
here.
cafe. So
Imagine that. What a flex.
the most perks you'll get is
Everybody just flocks around you and says, hey, can you add me?
off Mac goes with his Mochar.
Off he goes. Yes, order up against Direwolf. So this is going to be the grudge match because last time we went the distance, 45 minutes and 46 seconds. The longest game to date, this split, had everything. So first pick right at the gates, Azeri, a comfort champ, as you've both mentioned. So a great way for you to settle in.
Yeah, I mean, Zeri first pick's going to be nice for the side of order. Lots of flexibility there with support still for the pick, right? So you got enchanters everywhere. I will say, as far as, you know, first game nerves are concerned, Zeri's still very high mechanical position base, so it's not the easiest to theoretically go through, but he's a monster on the pick. Direwolves, you'll also note there was a Shaco ban away from them. It is very much just a denying Poltron, one of his best champions. The interesting thing here is that with that Shaco ban, and also a Poppy ban, which seems to perhaps be something that Order have been cooking up in scrims. Maybe they've been scrimming peace. They've left open the Wukong
Left open Lucian Nami.
and Lucian Nami.
It's not been taken. That is absolutely crazy to me. But they have got their hands on the Wukong, as you rightly mentioned, and Poltron looked ever so comfortable on it this time, last time. So you combine that with the Silas. Doesn't need any much more of an introduction, really, for the side of Direwolves. They will be very comfortable with this opening, and certainly Order now.
There it is.
With a Yuumi, Zeri, and a Trundle, first 3 picks, the dream.
Almost unkillable lane. However, the response is very nice here by Direwolves. Yuumi has got a Mumu as an answer. You've also seen Rakan as an answer.
Yeah.
So it just makes it really difficult. Also remember, this is the patch where Yumi's passive auto attack range is reduced, so there's actually a further distance you want to travel when detached from your taxi driver, in this game being Hooper on the Zeri. So there is actually a slightly larger window where you can be CC'd and prevent the re-engage together. This is actually a really nice ban by Order in response to seeing that Amumu locked in. Kai'Sa with 3 CC potential tanks is obviously going to be pretty overwhelmingly strong. Kalista is another option. I'm not sure exactly how Kalista works in a Zeri as an AD matchup, but I feel like Trundle already makes Kalista's life hard and Kalista's already banned, right? So with that Kai'Sa taken off the board...
I'm thinking Twitch now, but like surely you don't want to play Twitch without an Enchanter like a Renata, like a Lulu.
Yeah, like, I mean... Because like Tristana, they're going to get rid of another aggressive AD, right? That couples with
all
tanks.
in with the bandage toss, right? Of course.
Maybe you do go Twitch, but that's not a lane that feels human. You know, Amumu Twitch is never 2 champions you say next to each other and think, I like that. that's probably just Ezreal.
Yeah.
Because Ezreal has the flexibility of going backwards or forwards. And I also... Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, Caitlyn's been one of those champions. Well, okay, so we've got a bit of a buff, right? But it felt like it'd been really out of the fold of things for such a long time because Tahm Kench and Seraphine just existed, right? You'd shield her the damage or you'd heal it all up and the Caitlyn kind of just cried.
I also feel like picking Caitlyn when we've already mentioned this Zac top lane does exist. The only advantage that Direwolves have is that they're last picking for Zoranus because they're red side. So blind Zac maybe doesn't work. That's my only musings on that. Azir actually going to be locked in here into the Sylas. So 2 very potent mid laners to say the least. Suman with a comfort pick for him. Last time we saw this Sylas from him, I think that was a 10-0 performance. So no surprises that he goes for that one. And yeah, instead of going for the counter pick that we know, the Sejuani will be picked this time by Order blind. No Ornn tech to be seen regardless, and a Trundle can actually work brilliantly with the Sejuani.
Certainly can. That's a lot of lockdown. Certainly, anywhere they go, this Azir and Azeri will certainly flourish with the uptime they will need. Direwolves' 5th and final pick will be the Gwen. The immunity circle comes out to play one more time.
Yeah.
And you just have to ask yourself right now, between the Cyclone and the Curse of the Sad Mummy, they've got a lot of lockdown in an AoE manner, but do they have the damage to actually make those picks worthwhile?
And Gwen is a scaling pick as well, right? So we'll provide a whole lot of damage. For early laning phase, I think because they can both run Ignite, Teleport as their summoners of choice, there's still a lot of volatility in that top lane 1v1, and you're expecting Gudo to have some kind of influence on that lane. Wukong Gwen, in regards to 2v2 skirmishers, aren't a combo. They're just individually strong champions. So if they get the jump first, they can still be strong. But Sejuani can... Sejuani. Trundle Sejuani can absolutely be overwhelming in a 2v2 if they get going. Mid lane scaling for the side of Order, and then Zeri Yuumi, as you'd expect. Almost impossible to kill down in that 2v2 if they play it perfectly. Could just be a cleanse onto the Zeri as well. Extra summoners, the heal and the exhaust to be supplemented by Corporal on that Yuumi. Very exciting game for Order's composition to see how they execute this one, but Direwolves, the team that have the first win in their head-to-head, looking to stamp that home with a 2-0 and actually cement themselves in second place potentially over one of the contenders come playoffs time.
Absolutely. They've gone through their easier weeks and now into the belly of the beast. This is where it starts up. Order today, Chiefs tomorrow. A chance for them to showcase. Second round robin, are we still the team that no longer needs to be put in the conversation as we fluked our way there? No, this is actually a sustained performance. And Order, whilst they can play anything and whilst they can switch around moving parts with their roster, still need more time to try and find their answers back into this one. Those are the big questions here. And I guess really, once again, it's going to be a lot of time spent discussing this bot lane, all right? Dante's first game was the Kai'Sa, very mechanically minded, but he seems to certainly have ice in his veins. Hooper coming into this one, incredibly gifted, but very nervous, and it feels like there's a lot of pressure on him with the comp that's been built to say that you and this Azir need to really drive home this victory.
I mean, without a doubt, there's going to be a lot of eyes on the mid and AD roles for Order in regards to carrying them through this game. For the side of Direwolves, Caitlyn is all about controlling early lane. It's all about bot lane pressure here for the Direwolves composition. Because if you can open the map up, set the Caitlyn up in mid to put the traps down, it's unplayable for any team that you're against.
Certainly is. We've seen many variations of what a Caitlyn lane can look like. Pair that with a Morgana, a Lux, or even a Karma. Hyper Siege, and you're getting plates well before a Herald even comes in to the conversation. Well, Ceres is on the line here to join us for this one. And Ceres, I have to ask, I mean, it really does seem to be the big news today with Hooper's debut. So how have they been doing? What's it been like having them on the team? And sort of what can we expect from them?
Yeah, look, Koopa is an extraordinary talent, I think. He's got a very, very high ceiling. It obviously still needs to be cultivated, and he's kind of like a diamond in the rough, but that's what we're aiming to do. You know, we're always aiming to set ourselves up for success later down the line, and this is no exception.
It certainly seems like OS in general, right, is stacked with the next generation of these side he carries, as it's proven to be in the past. I have to say then, as a sort of a whole, what was the key message then coming in today? Just play comfort, let's get another win on the board, let's try and answer back for what was that longest game so far in Split 2?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, especially in the case of Hoopa, he knows that he has our absolute confidence. He's a real talent, right? And everybody trusts him and everyone has faith in him, and that's important. So we're ready to win.
Well, let's see what happens here today, Series. Pleasure as always, mate. We're going to jump on into this one. Best of luck for the week.
Cheers, appreciate that, Skimmy.
Of course, as he said, just looking at the future with how they want to play this one out. What you just saw on your screens was a pretty crazy level 1 potentially breaking out here. BioPanther, because they saw them with early level 1 vision, kept their Sejuani in the area. Bio teleports top at level 1. So that's rough for him specifically, as Zoranus might be able to get away with playing hyper-aggressive with his trades. Has the teleport advantage as long as he doesn't overplay it and die to an Ignite combo. So that's a nice start for Direwolves in that respect. But a very delayed clear from Poltron as he gets pushed out from what was a 4v5 at level 1. Means that the Wukong is going blue to red, just coast to coast, and is also going to be doing this on vision. Bot lane 6 level 2.
Certainly is, and that means Bordeaux goes straight on in. He had the burner flash to try and run away from that invade, but he is running the Hex Flash, and obviously since that change to the Amumu, where you have now 2 charges of the Bandage Toss, expect a lot of aggression. Expect a big focus towards detaching that Yuumi, so she can't get the mana back, can't proc the shield, and can't reattach, what, another 5 seconds?
That's also the sole reason Amumu became a support, is 2 charges on Q. Suddenly is viable, because if you miss the Q, you've got another one. So you can actually hold your cards. Another hook connects. It's been timed really nicely here by Bulldog onto the Glacial Field, so with his passive timing. But anytime he goes for that initial Q, there's 3 seconds for a Yuumi to dismount to get the passive auto attacks off. And to actually equalize the trade a little bit, as you'll note that Corporal, almost permanently out of mana, has been gifted those passive auto attacks to have enough to keep Hoopa in lane. And that's really what it comes down to. And Scudo is in the area. And so is Poltron.
Certainly are.
Poltron's pathing, by the way. If this results in nothing, very rough. Blue, red, Gromp, Scuttle Crab on the other side of the map. He's just running back and forth between top and bot side jungle. He's going to be spotted every single place that he goes. There was a ward level 1. There was a ward at his red buff. There's a ward in the side lane brush of mid. He will get double Scuttle at the very least.
He's certainly come out the gate swinging here with a contingency plan of saying, well, if I'm going to fall behind, I'm going to do whatever I can to try and get online as quickly as possible. A chance to see what this new Wukong looks like. Even if those changes were rather minor, will it have any grand consequences for its win rate here in the LCO? Let's check in with the top lane as well. Not often we see a Gwen, obviously, since she's had a few changes as well to her mist. Has fallen out of favor as well.
Just for the war of attrition, Zoranus is winning this lane. Right, BioPanther. Actually, really nice on the Corporal.
That's what you want to see, right on towards Corporal. He's been ignited, needs one more auto. Dante with the heal! And a flash forward to guarantee it. You love to see it now. Primed and ready to try and zone back Hooper. Maybe look at a second, but it's just going to be one.
That's it. Corporal gets hit with a bandage toss. You've got a very nice follow-up from Dante. Very easy to make sure something happens here. Goodo's going to sweep his way through. Actually, Sweeper times out. Doesn't know that he's on vision. He keeps walking out of the bush, but even showing there I actually think is a blessing because it means Hooper won't get dove. Top lane fighting.
Zoranus is going to go for this kill. Oh, he's taken him out! He's died to the minion. He does indeed. So it's a 1-for-1. And Bio does not have teleport.
Exactly right. So mid's still hard trading throughout all of this, but the fact that Bio doesn't have teleport means that he's not going to get there for the wave that's crashing. So that's actually really good from Zoranus. And it is an equalizer in that lane. And keep in mind that the Gwen pick scales really nice into the game. So the more kills you can get, the more accelerated that you can be come that first skirmish that you join when you're throwing down the needlework. So just a big trade up there in top lane. As expected from double ignite users, they really do just commit to the play when the play is there.
Level 6 is overrated, clearly, right? Before ultimate
why
there. Why not? Just level 5, have a bit of a brawl. And yeah, well timed from Zoranus to try and isolate out the fact that your TP is gone. See him being a bit of a devil there.
Yeah, that was a weak psych out attempt from him though. There's no shot you ever used your chains and your E2 to go forwards, you can only cancel it with the Q. Regardless, they'll get themselves the objective. I think this is basically earned through the 2v2 success in bot lane. Bulldog, of course, hitting a very nice bandage toss to make sure that this happens. Wave quite bad for Order as well. Let's see how they actually deal with what is now a freeze.
So annoying, the heal cost though on Yumi, isn't it, right? It's like literally half your mana pool. Seem to go for one heal, and you're more or less utilizing it for the attack speed and move speed now.
Also, one of the Caitlyn changes, I guess for anyone who's wondering, I believe it was more pass-through damage with the Q, and more of the scaling damage in general from Caitlyn. They want to try and give her more relevance late game when she's already a powerhouse early, and there's no point overloading her early game kit, because then she just becomes broken and becomes an absolute siege tank at 15 minutes in mid lane. Most Caitlyn compositions as well, you want to play towards that, because you want to try and break turret plates to get those leads and put a Caitlyn in mid lane to continue sieging if possible. And Amumu wants to be free on the map as well. We know Bulldog loves a good roam. So I would not be surprised to see Poltron hit level 6, Human to get some priority in mid lane, perhaps at some point from a hover from Poltron, and then straight to a bot dive.
2 more waves and level 6 should be there for the bot lane. And as you say, Bulldog certainly does fancy himself a good roam. Will look a lot more attractive on a champion like an Amumu compared to his Lulu performance last week, where you rock up, maybe a cheeky polymorph and say, how do you do?
Yeah, look, there was... Direwolves certainly had a limit test last week, didn't they? They had an Orianna Lulu comp. It's not them. It's not really their identity at all. They had a crack. It didn't work. And you also heard in the coach interviews when we were talking to Blixus as well, that was they were trying something different. It very clearly failed. So I'll be more curious than not to see if that actually gets played again, though it didn't work game 1 on the stage.
Well, there he is, on the great trek, straight through mid lane, having just reset back to base. Still needs that 1 extra wave before level 6 is there to utilize.
Yeah, he's actually hitting this mid wave to make sure that he hits level 6. So this is some LCK tech that we've seen. This full wave will get him at least 1 minion away from 6, if not the whole level. That's why he stays there for that experience, is 1 away. So,
but a big emphasis, right, on getting that Herald. Much to your point before, you want the Caitlyn lane to be sieging, you want to try and rotate through to mid, have the control of the lane, free access then to those side lanes or to those side objectives.
Yep.
And guarantee a lot of early gold with those turret plates.
And one of the big things for Caitlyn comps is set up at an objective before it spawns, because you want to be able to have mid priority to set up enough time for Caitlyn to put 5 traps down at an entrance. And if you can get that done, then they just can't walk in. They literally cannot walk in. That's a few levels away for what it's worth, however, from the side of Direwolves. Caitlyn wanting to be probably level 12, I think is the point that she has 5 points in W now.
There is Master Poltron. Intimidating on this Wukong. The KDA speaks for itself. Oh, that's a cheeky little 1v1 taking place down here in the bot lane as we have flipped the map across. Ult's being traded. But Bio once again has expended double sums. And Zona still has that intact. Bulldog looking for a cheeky fight down bot side. Actually going to utilize his curse, trade it out for the final chapter. Both survive.
Ultra mid.
On towards Kese here, who could be in a lot of trouble. The Emperor's Divide knocks back Steam, and he needs to try and lifesteal. He can't find it. It's a 1-for-1. Both junglers removing their mid lane counterparts. And then they get to trim the wave like this is a jungle camp.
There's just 2 walls on top of each other as both Kise and Human use the Azir Emperor's Divide. Top lane skirmish as well, I would say actually went fairly even overall. Order managing to keep most of their summoners and get the Amumu ultimate out to be pretty happy with that one, considering Direwolves were the aggressors. And mid also even, right? There's no actual place of strong advantages gained by either team here. There's no space created, there's no distance purchased. We just fight each other. We say good fight. We reset with the money that we either did or didn't get. Maybe an Ignite advantage for Biopanther, disadvantage for Biopanther is something of note where Zoran has kept his. But flashes in mid lane is probably the biggest point where if you're Direwolves, you're looking at that as Bulldog and Poltron saying we can hit skill shots for days.
Yeah. We talk about summoners in the top lane. We'll obviously somewhere between our 2 bot lanes as well. Ignite for Cleanse. Hooper won't have that going into the next Dragon fight. If they do even decide to contest it, that's up in 20 seconds. Primed with 3 members top right now.
Corporal just chooses to die to the turret real quick before this is even considered. no real way they're going to actually push for the turret or to have Biopanther being hovered by Kisei on the bottom side of the map. But there's 3 people strong here. So plates for sure going the way of Direwolves. And it was all about the change in deployment here. It seems like Order have said, we don't care about the Drake. We aren't going to base and redeploy for bot side at all. We're just going to concede the Drake, get some extra farm into our pockets. And this is time where, you know, the Caitlyn is solo farming bot lane for what it's worth. But Hooper and Corporal untouched as they pressure top.
Gudo has spent such a long time camping this top lane, but Zoranus has got his measure. He's planted a ward, he's played defensive, he's just trimmed the wave and said, you're wasting your time. They're going to get this bot lane for free. Their Herald is still intact. They can summon that mid.
Yep.
And it's going to be the biggest gold injection for Direwolves.
And put simply, it just feels like Direwolves are doing it better. You know, there's absolutely a world that Corporal dismounts, goes on to Gudo and just goes for a walk with his jungler. You know, the standard roam affair. Not really seen. And Dante having the absolute time of his life in a solo lane. Fun fact, Azir hates Rift Herald Eye if he has a soldier on top of it. Can't hit the back because the soldier's always hitting from where it is.
Yeah, you can see it in the total goal, can't you? Dante left to his own devices for just a hot second. Back to base, picks up the Gale Force, and the Caitlyn Dream starts to come online.
Also an objective in the Drake, as well as the extra plates bottom, as well as the Herald summon in mid lane. Direwolves effectively winning in 3 fronts in that respect. Of course, you can see Order still have 3 members strong challenging the top of the goal, but no one can get even remotely close to this Caitlyn's gold lead. And that does mean, as of right now, Mythic completed, Berserker Greaves completed, and absolutely gas in the tank to win a fight if it were to break out around Dante. Has Flash and Heal, and Gudo non-committal CC. You have to cancel a net with the pillar.
Bulldog actually did something really cute there. He ran into the Baron pit, juked up the vision by Hex flashing across the wall, but it's obviously circumvented it now, so they will know he's there. But it could have been a cheeky way to sneak into lane and see if Gudo was going to hang around, but they would have some fight back.
Gudo has snuck in. Honestly, this jungler refuses to leave top lane. Bulldog showing in the lane for sure. 3 relic stacks, so probably does want to auto-attack these minions. Everything there for Direwolves, bar the flash on a Mumu.
Out goes the pillar. Bulldog's in trouble. He's going to use that Curse to Sad Mummy, or is he not? No, he's just too sad to even use it. The patience, the perseverance, it finally pays off. And this time they find what they need.
Yeah, I mean, look, patience does pay, but the cost you'd have to say is still really high. Direwolves don't lose their AD. Their jungler's been farming the whole time, and the game is continuing business as usual for them.
Considering how far behind Poltron was at the early portion of this game, right, he's done a phenomenal job just clawing back, and I guess a lot of it comes down to the fact that Gudo has literally just been a living ward.
Yeah, nothing but playing for his bot lane. It's just living around there. I mean, you would hope that that paid off. Bulldog still had his flash, still had his ultimate. There was tools potentially there to get him out, but just acknowledge that his flash was a Hex flash at that time. And so there was no real safety net once a pillar locked him down. But the flash is up now. So that play that worked last time, you can't do the same thing with a Trundle and a Yuumi. You'd need to bring a Sejuani into the mix. So I'm glad that they've reassessed their strategy, at least right now from the playbook. They've done what we said probably could have been done a couple of minutes ago.
It's our match of the week for a reason, isn't it? The plates are gone, 15 minutes in, and this game still is as close as anything. 2 Drakes to the Direwolves. The gold lead, really nothing to talk about. And while we have put a big focus on this bot lane as the area to watch out for, what it does certainly feel now even more so with a Hextech Soul primed for a Zeri and a Caitlyn just to steamroll, completely run this ship.
Biopanther actually walked here very early. Ready to fight, ready to throw the ultimate out, presumably straight away. The rest of Order haven't started the Rift Herald though, so it's clear that they're looking perhaps more for the fight than anything else.
Waiting to see who face checks. No one's going to fall victim.
And there's no turret to defend bottom, so Bio, technically he'd have an extra 30 seconds worth of time. Dante hits 1 Q and Corporal lose half his health, but Herald finally started. Zoranus no teleport, so this should be Orders.
Yeah, he's going to go back to base, no longer going to push out bot lane. Has gone back to base to pick up that Riftmaker, however, so those items are starting to come online. But there should not be a contest here from the Direwolves. As they will just have a bit of a gentleman's handshake.
Dailos really couldn't make their mind up, it felt like, in that case. Do they want to contest it? Can we buy enough time for Zorinus to actually get here? Is that possible? The answer was no. They will still be able to body out Order, prevent them from getting to the mid lane, so the outer turret will fall. Order are going to turn that into a transaction at the very least, and they'll summon Herald for top. Chance of a second charge as well for the top lane inner turret, as I feel like there's no world that Order are going to contest this Drake with how they're currently positioned. As Hexgate top from Suman.
Yeah, he's in. He's really looking to try and zone them away because that headbutt will come across. So 2 headbutts works out nicely for them. Seaman with the hijack, stealing away that Glacial Prison. Locks in place Hooper, who hits the lightning crash, but he hits himself. He just fell on down. A Trundle with a cat. I tell you what, that's so very strong. Goes golden, jukes out 1-0, and now tries to dash away, but the chains go back in. He is the Kingslayer. He's life stealing, he's leeching, but he's been stunned and locked in place, and ultimately Order get 2 turrets and won't care about losing the Drake.
Yeah, Zorinus and Suman, both the members who want to be playing side lanes, take the fight. They willingly choose to take the fight, and yes, they will take down the Zeri. They'll take Hooper's life for sure, but they lose an inner turret as well as 2 members for the projected and already secured Drake that was theirs. So I feel like there's no world that Dailos should be rationally taking that fight. They give so much to Order from what was a winning situation for them.
Again, Order the gold lead now for the first time in this game. And have certainly rewarded Goodo for all that time spent once again. Straight towards the top lane, that was the transaction. You get a turret for free. Well, we'll get this one with an objective instead. But to claim 2 and more, what a way back in.
I mean, Suman could have walked into lane, perhaps with Zorinus. They had the Sejuani ult stolen, as well as the Gwen ultimate to use to be clearing the wave, but it felt like they wanted the skirmish more. They were focused on hitting champions.
Bulldog has ult, chucks that vanish toss
missed.
number 1. Not gonna find what's after.
There we go.
Number 2, flash, ult, there's the curse. They're sad, they're knocked back, but they're dead. Kisei is gone. In comes Zorinus on the flank, looking for a target, and a target he will find Puma. Or rather, Hooper removed from the game, much like Puma, not on the Rift here today. And Direwolves now
Together
flawless.
they're Pooper. Nice team fight from Direwolves. I mean, it's going to get them in a turret. Fantastically done by Bulldog. That's exactly why you want a Mumu in your composition. It's free engage. You missed your first bandage toss. Here's a second one for free. Find a carry, and because it's a stun, you can flash ultimate with no Azir ult to follow. Kisei dying with his flash up speaks to how difficult it is to get out of an Amumu engage. And really great bounce back from Direwolves as a whole. However, Order choosing to go for this outer turret, hitting the turret when they don't have their Sejuani and are clearly not paying attention to the teleport timers, as Zorinus gets into the mix very freely, and Suman was already there. I feel like Order overstepped by quite a margin, as that's the bottom of the map. And that's Biopanther.
I think the observers were enjoying that replay just as much as us.
It's lost in the sauce.
Cheeky little hijack there from Seaman to steal away the Yumi ult, actually, of all things. In the moment, found a target, locked him down, and collapsed upon from the Bruiser Bros.
Dante, freest fight of his life as well. You know, Mumu just locking people down as Goodo will steal the red buff. Gate traps everywhere.
I think it's been a bit of a cruisy game for Dante. Been farming up a trait, doing what Caitlyn does in the early game. Certainly does feel like the awkward stage, though, where Caitlyn wants a few more items. Mid-game can always be a bit of a burden.
You know what I will say as well for him is, doesn't need cleanse in this game. Okay, Kisei's alive, that first Q. Dante was walking in front of Bulldog. There's a little bit backwards in how they should be perhaps showing. But nevertheless, Kisei will survive. What I was going to say is Dante doesn't have cleanse. Doesn't need it for his lane. Doesn't really need it for the jungler. But if Biopanther's in a team fight, you're not going to have a support that builds Mikhail's Crucible, so you're not going to be able to get out of these stuns, and Sejuani can lock you down.
He's in trouble.
So there is a concern there for a fairly low mobility champion in Caitlyn. And it comes down to positioning then, right? That's really the question that we have to raise about it. How does Dante position? Is he protected? That's a Hex Gate.
That is certainly a Hex Gate. Kisei just going to rock up and say, well, no Wolf Camp is free, but Poltron says it certainly is. There's a smite. I guess going to your point, right, is going to be very much on Dante to well utilize the Flash, the Gale Force, as well as the Caliber Net.
Perhaps to build a QSS, but he'd want his core items completed first.
For sure.
I don't know if you want to go out of the way to build a QSS when you probably want that Infinity Edge third. well and truly on the way to being an overwhelming force in this game. Nice ward from Order. Will spot Direwolves as they come in to try and dive. And a simple pillar. I mean, you almost could have locked Bulldog on the other side of that.
Sejuani, though, Biopamper's coming on the flank. This is going
Huge
to be a
ult.
beautiful ult. He just slingshots across the wall and knocks the wall in place, but Dante with a great net across the wall will not fall victim for that. Kisse finds that shutdown, and Order finds the second. They've absolutely crushed them in their side of the map.
Order with a hard read. They'll get the team fight win that they wanted. They chose the fight. It was on their terms. Human. No smite, no unsealed spellbook, no chance to steal this away as Gudo does still have his smite. Dante just going to push mid lane. Direwolves left reeling as we're going back and forth in this game of push and shove. And this time it was Order's chance to win because they catch Direwolves. That huge Yuumi ultimate locks down 3. And it gives so much time for Biopanther to get into the mix. The Amumu ultimate was done while the rest of the team, the damage dealers of the team, weren't actually doing damage. They were kiting away because they were afraid of the position they were in. That fight was lost the second it started, just because Direwolves were wedged into a choke point.
You just saw Seaman TP into the fight and then run straight away after. Well, from Baron to Dragon, this is for Soul Point. Direwolves would love this one, but do they feel strong enough? Do they fancy taking a 50-50 as the Dragon gets reset? Order certainly don't want to give them that opportunity.
Oop.
In goes Bulldog, found Kisse, chucks out the Glacial Prism, both actually completely airball. There's no ultimates to talk about, but Zerenis finds his target, removes
Dragon's
Kisse,
gone.
who burnt the flash. The Dragon is still there, and Gudo's taking it. They've bought themselves a precious 5 minutes, and now with a Baron buff, they've got the stats, they've got the damage, and they've got those targets locked in their sight. Where is that pillar? Does Gudo fancy another? He's going to have to settle for just that.
Gudo flashes the wall to save the day for Order. So it's not just the Baron in transaction for a soul. It is actually both objectives secured. Clutch moment from the jungler of Order, to say the least. And Kisse cops a bandage toss to kick this one off. Bone plating actually very early taken away by Biopanther onto Zoranus as well, which is a factor when this fight happens. The flash just safely getting himself some distance means that Zoranus has to put a full combo into securing this kill at all. He immediately gets stunned and taken down. Gudo flashes into the pit, 155 HP. And I think it was a chomp, not a smite, that secured that one in the end. Those 2 smites came out real quick, and there was only one victor.
What a moment. Order here, really fighting tooth and nail to come back into this one. And they've done everything right, absolutely. I mean, they certainly read the play, and that's what really started this whole Cascade affair off.
So the next fight that happens, we have to keep in mind that Order have 1 flash left. And that is just on Hooper. Both summoners are going to be there for the Zeri, yes. But for the AoE engaged team composition of the Direwolves with flashes on every single person that has one up, there is a world they win a team fight. And so Order have to play respectfully, knowing that they are at a summoner spell disadvantage. So this is where you should see Order put extra care into how they set up for the turret that they want to push. So if that is, bottom and mid inner turrets that they want to take 100%, then this blue side quadrant of the map should be theirs. They should be able to secure vision control and shut Direwolves out. 20
seconds left before that Baron falls on through. Dante not too far away from completing an Infinity Edge. Then maybe certainly Direwolves would look to try and press their advantage with the Flash Summoners. Once again, sidesteps that ultimate. The Icy Boomerang. Not going to find what it's after. But Order has certainly taken a fair few structures.
And they're able to push their control forwards, yes, but Zoranus is also taking turrets in top lane. So Baron buff resulting in an inner turret in bottom, that's awesome, but it's actually just traded for free. So this is an even trade against the Baron, against the Grain. So Zoranus doing well here. And the longer this game carries on, the more opportunities that exist for Direwolves to secure themselves the Hextech Soul. They've got 3 more chances. 3 more opportunities to secure the Soul for themselves. And Monster Caitlyn, that just seems to be untouchable in this game. And a good AoE wombo comp when it comes to team fighting. Not to say that Order are slouches by any means. Their team fighting just isn't as simple. Azir wants to kite back. Zeri wants to kite constantly to get the movement speed stacks up on the ultimate. A lot of this comes down to, can Sejuani find the target? Or is Dante just too good?
Certainly been very impressive already in this game with his ability to juke out key ultimates. Any lockdown abilities. The Infinity Edge is now there for them. 2 minutes for that next soul point. By which point those flashes would be up and available for Order again. Can they wrangle an opportunity to try and force out a fight? We're just going to be passively farming and attending these side lanes.
Currently looking at about 1,200 gold away from an extremely powerful Zeri to match that of Dante's Caitlyn. That's something to look forward to for all the Order fans out there, and that basically puts a clock on the game. If you're able to give Hooper a farm, if you're able to funnel CS towards your AD carry, try and get there before the Drake spawns, that would be optimal, but your Order, you're pressured for this objective. You have no choice but to try and set up as fast as possible for this one. However, with 1 minute until the Drake spawns, Direwolves will give themselves a reset with great wards already placed everywhere, just littered around the area.
That is the overwhelming focus in this one. But there will be a crossover with both major objectives spawning at the very same time. The Electric Dragon and the Big Purple Worm. And once again, it goes back to who can farm the mid lane the best, who can rotate quicker, who can guarantee that their vision reigns supreme. Double
teleports here for Direwolves, great flank wards pretty much everywhere right now in the red side jungle as well. Zoran is already in the area, so doesn't need the teleport itself. And while Human is grouped with the team, has stolen a Sejuani ultimate and is very much poised to try and find the engage. Direwolves with the inside line, the inside track towards the objective up in 10 seconds. This is really tough for Order to actually get purchased, to get entry into the pit. Caitlyn traps out as well.
Simon, he's on straight away on towards Viper, but Everfrost is there. Into the backline, looking for one key target. Remove the AD carry. Can they find him? They certainly can't at the moment, but they've taken out Kisei. Gudo is low, but he's surviving for the meantime. Subjugate is just big enough. And there is the zap. Hooper untouched with a cat on his head. He's looking ever so clean. Can he make a 1v4 happen on his debut? Dante's already got the first kill. Hooper gets stunned, but instantly cleansed. He's found one, Rusty. I can see a world in which you actually clean the floor here and make the unthinkable happen. Gwen goes unstoppable. Corporal jumps off and soaks the ace in the hole. Yuumi Mechanics, can you believe it?
I mean, they're currently 1v9ing between the two of them. They have to staunch them away from the objective. Drake's hit. Dante cops a couple of shots to the face here.
Ultra's just thinking, I can go in, I can just smite this one for free. What are we waiting for? Why are we getting zoned away from this one? Surely at this point you just walk away and say, fair enough. Go have your little 1v9 moment, but it's not going to happen today. Indecision. Hooper's keeping them honest. He's keeping them keen.
Okay, there's a teleport incoming in from bottom. Human should be able to lock Hooper down. The teleports from Order have actually deterred that completely. Baron on the cards.
5 seconds away from ultimate. He can look to at least pick off somebody right now. Zornis goes one way, Poch from the other. Hex gets it there, but you can't run away. He's got no flash. He's got no chance. And Hooper finally finds the kill. What an impressive play from the Order bot lane.
I mean, that's actually stunning from the Yuumi and the Zeri. Baron 100% could belong to Order now that they've had enough time. And literally, Hooper and Corporal buy 30 seconds, which is enough time for resets, to then push them back to get the Baron for free. That is exceptional, just legwork out of the bot lane of Order to keep them in this game and make that solar trade.
Tell me you're nervous as a brand new player, a 17-year-old, looking to fill the big boots and the shoes of Puma. You've come in like that and hung with the best. And as you say, 30 seconds of taunting, dancing, and keeping them keen. It's worked wonders. And yes, they lose the Hextech Soul, but they get the second Baron.
And yeah, it's not a great trade in the end, right? Like, they've given over the Hextech Soul, they've lost it in a turret bot lane, but you have to commend something that keeps them in this game, gives them a tangible gold advantage, and still are 3,000 gold up, though you would probably say the Hextech Soul close to equalizing that gold difference. This is an exciting game simply because both ADCs are crazy right now. We've got huge amounts of farm, of kills, and of money into the pockets of both ADs. Dante's still 404, cannot be killed on this Caitlyn, having the game of his life as well. And we are getting towards late game team fights.
But he doesn't want the spotlight to be stolen away from him as that new up-and-coming AD carry of the Oceanic region. Big pincer maneuver onto Biopanther, but not the target you're after. He's a very tanky Sedge.
Very much committed to this bot lane play. Very minimal wards actually placed to even prevent a collapse from Direwolves. Curious how they play this, because if you overreach, you just 100% get collapsed upon. They're engaging and taking the fight as Zir turret. Oh!
I mean, Gudo and Kisei are so well equipped just to stand strong right now. And now you're in a pincer maneuver, and Biopanther comes on through and chucks at the Elastico and goes, what are you doing here? You don't belong here, and they're just going to find two. Zoranis is just going to get withered on down. It's a double for Kisei. They've got the Baron, and yes, you got the soul, but do you have the damage? Dante has to work some magic now with his range. He's got the rapid fire cannon.
Kisei.
But he's just been destroyed by the Sand Soldiers.
I mean, the death cap's done for Kisei on this Azir. He's got his 3 items, and you sleep on mid laners for just a second. And Kisei goes crazy with his damage output. Order hunting for the end.
I think they're trying to end this one right now. Bulldog lands a 4-man ultimate. Sumin steals away once again that Sejuani ult and tries to work a bit of magic himself. But that is the slogan of Order. They themselves make magic happen, get the ace, and look to end at 31.
They'll give away the Hextech Soul, but they'll still find themselves a Nexus here from the looks of it. That is one dead, however, to the turret. And the minions have only just crashed. Poltron's back.
Poltron trying to do whatever he can. He jumps on in, nearly fell victim to the Sejuani passive, getting absolutely battered from afar. Xenos has respawned, the Nexus is exposed, and Order say, we're taking this one to a third meeting, third round robin. That's where we settle this.
And like you said, equalizing the head-to-head 1-to-1 here now. Order with a really big series of late game plays. They were still ahead for most of that game. A lot of shaky early game moments for sure. There was a big Caitlyn in there very early, and that's dangerous, right? That's super scary, but it never felt like Direwolves really took the time to set up for objectives when they happen, bar that one Drake, which secured them Soul Point.
Yeah, they're going to be kicking themselves to that one because it was really a perfect game up until that point there from Dante. So fed, so strong, so well equipped to utilize that range from afar. But Azir, or Kisei rather, said, oh, you think you've got range? Watch this, and just one-taps them off screen.
Yeah, that was crazy games coming through from Kisei at the end. You know, he was getting bullied for a little bit, but of course, as you mentioned, Gwen, that hard counter, but also Hooper. Like, what a bloody premier performance from this man.
Man, I've been hyping him up for 6 months now.
Yeah, I was hoping in something big.
I'm glad that he showed up and the nerves didn't get the better of him, because I was actually nervous for him the amount of times he said to me in Discord, I'm nervous. Please don't be.
It was beautiful. Just watching him like hovering around the dragon pit just before the soul, or like as the soul got taken, I was just thinking, 1v9? 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 Is it happening? And like Corporal was there. We got to give it to Corporal. He sat on Hooper. He did his job. He soaked a couple of big damage ults at points as well. And we were confused as to like how this macro was sort of going from Order. They were just trading objectives on the map. They were trading CS for, well, the other big, open objectives like Drake and such. And it looked like, even though Direwolves were taking sort of everything on the map, it was Order taking towers, it was Order answering, and I think this is the first turning point, right? Where they managed to go for the counter gank. Everyone showed up, TP's online, everyone's just there picking up 3 kills and then the Baron off the back of it, and then that's exactly what we saw for the next Baron that was up. And you can see here as well, another decent team fight. Gudo with a beautiful flash into Smite, tracking that Drake perfectly, and then you got to watch Hooper as well, just chunking damage throughout the fight here as well. There was just so much going on this game, and this is why it was Match of the Week.
This definitely served as of Match of the Week, but I do want to mention that Order, with their macro, they decided to give all the early objectives away, like the Rift Herald and the 3 Dragons, which is quite standard because you do have a scaling comp with the Zeri and Azir where they need gold early game, and a lot of teams actually give away the first 3 Dragons to get that gold lead, where they have the item spikes for the 4th Dragon and they just start winning from that 4th Drake.
Yep.
And I really just applaud to Gudo to actually get that flip on that Smite, because I think that really won them the game.
Yeah.
And Hooper on Zeri. Nuts. And he was not nervous from what we saw in that team fight. You know, he didn't mess up. He pressed cleanse, and with the Yuumi on him, I think the Zeri and Yuumi combo is just so broken. And something else I want to mention is this Caitlyn pick. We do know that Caitlyn's been buffed, but I feel like this Caitlyn could have been maybe replaced with an Aphelios, because she does, well, Aphelios still has the Gravitum gun where it provides that CC to catch out the Yuumi and Amumu synergy, and he does have better ulti damage with that Amumu, so AoE damage for those team fights. So I think maybe if we replace the Caitlyn with an Aphelios, would have had a much more impactful performance from Dante. But I think the main issue in that game was the communication in those team fights. We saw that, yes, they went in, and I think it was Amumu and Zoranus that were on the carries, but they were too split, so they couldn't follow, and those two just died instantly, and it was just, they were too split.
They were too split indeed, and someone that wasn't too split, someone that was really setting up a bunch of those ganks, and a lot of those fights was Gudo, and we got him on the line for the interview. Gudo, how you feeling after that dub, mate?
It was top one, but win is a win. Yeah, feeling nice.
Very true.
Congrats on your win! So we did see hovering Hooper the entire game, well, entire early game, and being the young player he is, tell us about the strat where you ended into this game against Dials?
They kind of remind me when I was in Dials and Dante was like debut game. He was like second like high school player debut with me, so it wasn't like I've been experienced, so it wasn't that actually like hard to communicate with Hooper. Yeah, it was fine.
I heard that you guys are good friends outside of the game as well. You know, you play mahjong and such, so you're really working on that chemistry nice and early.
Ooh. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for Link.
Oh, hey, you look, Leaks right here. That's all I'm saying.
But Gudo's kind of cracked. He's Korean and he knows all the numbers in Chinese, so I can't even do that. But yeah, so you guys just beat Dials, which is, they are second in the LCO rankings right now. So which other team are you guys looking out for after Super?
I mean, I just checked the schedule with Burst in Kangai Sports and Mamus and Gravitas. I'm pretty sure we have to win. We have to keep the win streak. So, like, obviously, like Super was like rough. We just won one game, but after win streak, if we just keep getting stronger and stronger, I think we'll be just contenter as a team. Yeah.
Very, very solid. Look, we'll let you go, Gudo. Enjoy the W, and we'll see if you can make it to tomorrow.
Thank you.
Always good to chat with the man. Big performance on the trundle there. Good pillars, saving the day a few times just by, you know, sitting there, existing, showing face, and then look, counter ganking up a storm. But he's. I feel like we don't see too many just general lane ganks, but this man, he's one that still loves it.
He actually just pressed S in a bush for a minute and a half.
Yep.
Like,
Multiple times.
Crazy how that works, isn't it? Sometimes you just don't expect him to be there, but a minute later, he's waiting.
It's just pure patience, right? Now, look, let's start talking about the Dare MVP. Who was the big one that game?
I feel like there's like multiple different categories, right? Because you could say it was like Gudo from stealing the dragon to buy more time to like setting up at that top lane bush with the pillar to like bait that fight where they really came back into the game. Maybe Hooper from like having the 1v9 moment where it was like, well, on your debut, you're just clearly not nervous and you've bought enough time to get another Baron. Or maybe you say it was like Kisei from just being like the late game Titan to guarantee them that damage, a reliable carry source that you know he can be. So I'm very conflicted today.
Hey, Kitty, who played better?
Okay, so
Contextually.
although Kisei died first in a lot of those team fights, I'm going to do a fighting case for Kisei. So Kisei died first in a lot of those team fights. It's quite impossible to play Azir into Gwen.
Done, it's Kisei.
And he got that nuts damage. Okay,
Oh, hey, you stole my line.
Yes.
Hey, the Dare Ask Coffee,
Yeah.
the most
Host now.
valuable player today was Kisei. 6, 4, and 7. You say the word and it'll pop up on the screen,
That was not
Rusty.
intended, but I agree.
You have too much power.
If you haven't finished talking about how hard it is, please continue.
Nah, I finished.
Okay.
Kisei popped off in the late game, so congrats, Kisei.
Yeah.
So easy that he's just sleeping. It's resident sleeper game for him.
I really respect the call from Order as a team. Like at the very last moment where they said, like, it doesn't matter that they flank us. They didn't set up for the push bottom. They just said, I have an Azir turret.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just play around the Azir turret and then legit just win a team fight bringing Dials to them. I respect that a lot.
Yeah.
And I think he was the main part of that.
I was actually a little worried because I saw it was going to be like a 4-on-5 there in the bot lane. And I was like, why are they not moving? And I just forgot that Azir can like make turrets. And then all of a sudden that popped up. I'm like, oh, everything makes sense again.
That's why.
Crazy. They got an extra player there, dishing huge damage that has ridiculous amounts of health. Either way, big from Kisei. And look, it's time for a break before we jump on into the final game of the day. Of course, I'm going to chew my 5 gum through the break. But after this, of course, it will be that final game. That game, of course, is Mammoth and Kanga going toe-to-toe. It's a coin flip after the break.
They're engaging and taking the fight Azir turret. Oh!
I mean, Gudo and Kisei are so well equipped to stand strong right now. And now you're in a pincer maneuver, and Biofem comes on through and chucks at the Elastico and goes, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. And they're just going to find two. Zerenis is just going to get withered on down. It's a double for Kisei. They've got the Baron, and yes, you got the soul, but do you have the damage? Dante has to work some magic now with his range. He's got the rapid fire cannon, but he's just been destroyed by the sense.
Hey, look, menu pog.
Their eye.
So I went down by process of elimination.
That's a lot of eliminations you got to go through, dude.
Katarina is pretty cute. So is Incursio. So is Zoe.
It's Incursio.
Process of elimination.
And all three
It
talk
is
like
not
a
Zoe. Unfortunately, that's some creativity.
How did you get there?
That is pretty close. All right, final one, Kitty. Who is it? Casio PR, and that
I
is
drew
the
a
correct
snake.
answer. You also get a half point for the cute little snake.
Aww,
So
thank
3.5
I drew a
right
rattlesnake.
now.